everybody, what is going on? It is a cold and overcast day here today, but we're here with Big Red again, and we're going to try to go ahead and bleed those brakes. Going to try to get into the master cylinder, bleed the brakes, and see what we can do. So please stand by, here we go. Okay, so some tools that you will need for the job. You will need an 8mm wrench. This is going to be for the bleeders. I'm actually going to use the closed end side or the boxed end side. I'm also going to use a bit on the end of a 1/4 inch socket. Some people call these JIS bits because they're not really like Phillips bits. They have a flat center. I'm going to try to use this first to see how it lines up for the brake master cylinder cover. And then of course I'm going to need this ratchet as well. When the time comes, I will be using this collection bucket to hopefully cycle the brake fluid through. So now that you have the tools list, let's see what we can do. See that master cylinder right there? These 4 screws on it. One of them looks kind of gnarled up. That's what I got to take off in order to be able to put fluid in. So we've got to figure out a way to get it done. I had sprayed these with PB Blaster already this morning, just trying to get them a little bit lubed up. Maybe they'll come off a little bit easier. Let's see what happens here. Remember, just like in an earlier video, and what I always say is, if you start using a bit and it doesn't feel right, don't try to force it or you're just going to strip it. Figure out a different way. I'm applying downward pressure. That does not feel like it's going to work. So this bit right here, not going to work. Let's find something else. So I decided to go with a Phillips. I have it on one of these ratcheting drivers. We're going to try this and see if this works better. I'm pressing straight down while I'm turning. First one's loose. Second one's loose. Third one's loose, but that was the worst stripped one, so it's a little bit iffy. Fourth one is loose, so they're all loose now. Okay, so once you get them almost all the way out, you should be able to just pull up on this and should come off of there. Not liking the fact that that one screw is being held. I'm going to look at these lengths and diameters, and so far it seems like those two are the same. Let's try to look at this one, if it'll let me pull it out. That one is too. Whew, look at those threads. And actually there's some corrosion right there too. Start eating away at one of the screws. I'm just applying a little bit of upward pressure. I'm going to move these out of my hand. Just applying a little bit of upward pressure as I'm unscrewing in hopes that it'll dislodge it. I may not have to take it all the way out. I may be able to slide it. Now, I don't want to do that, and I'll show you why once it comes off. There's a little rubber diaphragm under here, and I don't want to risk ripping it. Very similar to what's on car master cylinders. There you go, you can kind of see it right there. That rubber's not in good shape either. Ain't even gonna lie. There we go. Let me show you what I'm working with here. Okay, so right here, the rubber's actually a little bit more pliable than what I thought. This is why I didn't just want to try to slide it to the side. It would have ripped this. This helps to create a vacuum when you pop this cap on. This is kind of rusty. Probably hit it with a wire brush, but yeah, this thing right here is used to make a vacuum. And so we want to make sure that it stays okay. So I'm going to put these two things aside. So I've got me a little rag right here, and I'm just basically putting it in here and trying to wipe off all of the fluid, nasty fluid. Try to get it as clean as possible, because when we start reintroducing the new fluid in it, we don't want to contaminate any more than what we have to, right? Our goal is to get new, fresh brake fluid to go through the bleeders. That would be awesome. Alright, so the next thing is to get yourself some brake fluid. I don't really know what the best brake fluid is. If you do, please put it in the comments below. For years, I've just been using this .3 in there, and it seems to work fine. I haven't seen it cause any kind of brake failure or anything like that. You can get it at your local auto parts store for pretty inexpensively. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some in. We're going to introduce it into the brake system. We're going to put the cap back on, open up. We're going to put the cap back on. We're going to pump it up via the brake handle, and then we're going to slowly crack one and keep on doing that until we have fluid running through one, and then we're going to do the same thing for the other one, okay? So I'm going to introduce just a little bit. Well, more than a little bit. Basically, put it in there. There we go. I don't see anything from this part of the line leaking, which is a good sign. Next, the little rubber diaphragm goes on. Now this thing's meant to kind of collapse a little bit to create that vacuum, so let's see. It only goes on the one way, so when we're putting the screws through, ultimately I would want to get a new one of these just because this one is in pretty bad shape. But I think I can still use it, at least for now, to confirm that the brakes are going to work right, and then I can always order one down the road. I always put the screws on in a diagonal fashion, just because that's the way I was taught. Make sure I'm not piercing that rubber at all. Get my screwdriver. Tighten it down. I said I go cross corner when I'm tightening. That way I don't put too much stress on this plastic. You want to not necessarily torque it down right now, but you definitely want it down enough to where no air is going to come in through that cap, because that would not be good. Okay, so now that I have brake fluid in the master cylinder, next thing I have to do is pump it up using the brake handle, which is basically engaging, disengaging, engaging, disengaging, engaging, disengaging. Hopefully if you do that, I usually do it 15, 20 times, or until it starts getting a little bit hard. Keep in mind there's going to be a lot of air in the system probably, since that was pretty dry, so it's probably going to take a while. Once I achieve some kind of tautness, then I'm going to crack open this bleeder right here. We're going to have something come out, trickle out. That's why we're going to use this pan right here, so that hopefully we can catch it. Then we tighten it, and then we do it again. It's very important. Do not release your brake handle while you have this open, or it's going to act like a siphon, and it's going to siphon a bunch of air in there, and you don't want that. So let's give it a pump up. And I will pump and pump and pump until it starts to feel like I'm getting somewhere. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you are getting anywhere, but just got to keep on working at it. Because remember, you have to be able to displace the air that's in there as you're forcing that fluid down. And if you remember, air is compressible, but fluid isn't. So the fluid is going to press the air into a smaller section of this brake system and make it pressurized. I'm going to go ahead and, hey, look at there. I'm going to go ahead and crack this open. Hopefully it will. I cracked it open, but I got nothing. So I'm going to close it. And actually, I think because I already have this pressurized, I'm going to go ahead and crack this one on the other side as well, just to see what happens here. And as I thought, nothing. Okay, so I pumped it up again, and there was still nothing. So now we're going to go ahead and take care of checking the fluid reservoir and seeing if we need to refill it. Okay, so I took the master cylinder cover back off, topped it off. It wasn't all that low, but it was a little bit low, which is good, which means that potentially it's drawing fluid into the system. Now it's just time to pump it all out again. So while it is trying to tighten up, it's introducing air into the system everywhere that it's leaking, which is right here. That makes me suspect that maybe a bad O-ring or something in this plunger unit that's part of the master cylinder. That's about as far as I can go today. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research. I'm going to have to see, can I buy another master cylinder? Should I just buy a rebuild kit? While it is trying to get hard while I'm pumping, I just keep on getting that drip, and that drip means I'm not going to have consistent brakes, and I want this thing to be safe. So we're going to have to do a little bit of research, and I'm going to put this project on hold. Now, this project meaning just this task. We still have a lot more that we could do on this bike without having the front brakes going on. So I just wanted to show you once again, this is one of those times where it's a real life application. Things don't always go as you want them to, right? Sometimes things break, sometimes the bike wins, sometimes you win. This round, I think Old Red got me against the ropes. I might be down, but I'm not out. I want you guys to stay tuned. If you like what you saw, please, I implore you to check out my other videos. Also, click that like, click that subscribe button. I'm trying to build a community. That's how this is going to get bigger. Share this to all your biker friends. If you have any friends or you yourself like Yamaha motorcycles, please jump on my Facebook. I would love to see some pictures of your Yamaha motorcycles, past and present. That would be awesome. So guys, until then, oh girl, I'll see you next time. And I'll see you guys next time too. Take care.